I've been a YouTuber for almost 5 years now, and in that time I've had some amazing fun building things, fixing things, and raising heaps of charity money. But the fun has to stop. It's time to go to work, which I promise will mean more fun. To help understand why I've made some big changes to my channels and will be making more changes in the near future, I need to explain a little bit about my personal life, which is not something I feel really comfortable doing. But none of this makes sense unless you know why. I've been asked a few times in the comments what I do for a living, and I've always answered very honestly that I'm a full-time carer along with my amazing wife for our 2 sons. My eldest son Thomas, who you may have seen during the charity events, also upstaging me on Neil's channel, is a happy, bubbly, sociable lad who just wants to be everyone's friend. Despite being born with Down syndrome, he's physically quite able, but still requires help and guidance in most aspects of his life. Jack is Thomas's younger brother, and I won't be showing videos or photos of him on YouTube because I believe that getting someone's explicit content to be part of something like this is important. Thomas is able to understand what this means to a reasonable level, but Jack unfortunately doesn't have that understanding. Jack also has Down syndrome, and he's also severely autistic and has some serious physical disabilities. But he's the centre of our world, and everything we do as a family revolves around Jack. So my YouTube journey has always had one eye on my main purpose in life, which is caring for our sons. The downside to being a full-time carer in our position is there isn't a reasonable way either my wife or I can hold down a job, which sadly means we are not able to support ourselves. And please don't think for a second I'm digging for sympathy. I love my life and I wouldn't swap it for anything else. And don't worry, this isn't the start of a fundraising scheme. It doesn't work that way for us. But after nearly 5 years of creating YouTube content, my channels are now in a reasonable position to earn some money if I let them. The upside of being a full-time carer, at least for me, is I get quite a lot of time where, as well as being watchful over my sons, I can also be productive. At the beginning of this year, I changed a lot of things in the way I make videos. Firstly, I renamed my second channel to More Fun Fixing It, and I split my content in a way I think makes more sense. All the making videos go on the More Fun Making It channel, and all of the repair videos plus everything else goes on the Fixing It channel. I partly did this as an experiment to see what would happen if I made regular videos and released them without any advertising switched on. And over the last few months, I've released on average 3.5 videos a week on the Fixing It channel. That's 1 repair video, 1 podcast, and various update and unboxing videos, all without adverts, you lucky so-and-sos. Just to see if a channel could sustain growth. And to a certain extent it did. The second channel grew in a reasonably healthy way. Now, some of this could be put down to having an established audience on the other main channel who then moved over to this one. And I think a lot of it is down to the sheer volume of releases. You can barely open YouTube these days without seeing my face. Soz. But the thing I found interesting during this whole period of experimentation was that almost all videos performed in exactly the same way. They would all get between 2,500 and 3,500 views, which is around the size of the subscriber base, and then drop off to almost nothing. And why would YouTube bother to show these videos to anyone new when they could be serving them content with ads that would make them money? They're a business after all. It's clear to see if you want to reach the widest audience, you have to be monetized and have adverts switched on. And I've now begun that process with adverts switched on for all videos released on both channels. One big difference this will make to me is I'll need to declare earnings to the powers that be. And if I'm going to do that, well, I might as well turn on all the other revenue streams you're supposed to cultivate as a YouTuber. So I've now also switched on my dormant Patreon, which has already seen a good number of people signing up. I've set up 3 simple tiers. The first one gives you everything. Early ad-free access, special Discord channels, an easy way to contact me, behind the scenes updates, and my undying gratitude. And the other 2 just cost you more money. I'll work out a way to add value to the higher tiers as I find out how all of this fits together with everything I do. I'll also look at setting up a similar thing with YouTube channel membership if Patreon is not your thing, but I'm not yet sure how I can make that work over 2 channels. Please don't worry about the content I share on YouTube changing in any way. I won't be putting any of the regular content I make behind paywalls, but for those that do choose to support me through the likes of Patreon, I'll be offering them a little extra as a thank you. The big final change, which is still in the planning and negotiation stage, is sponsorship. I've resisted the lure of sponsorship money up until now, but having seen how much I might be able to earn through this, I would be crazy not to consider it. I'm not a big fan of sponsor spots myself as a viewer, but with channels I really like, I tend to support them on Patreon and then get ad-free access to the episodes that way. I do understand this will be very disappointing to some people who really don't like adverts and sponsorship, but the reality is if I want to take this seriously, I just can't afford to do it without that extra income. I will of course make them as unobtrusive as possible and maybe put a little of my own humour into them to ease the pain. I have a rough idea of what the income will be over all three revenue streams and can safely say it won't be a living wage, but it will be a start, and I hope that the extra effort I'll be putting into both channels will pay off with healthy growth that will, at some point in the future, lead to something that might be able to support my family in a more healthy way than has gone before. So if you like my channels and want to support what I do, then from this point the best way to do so will probably be Patreon. I'll leave a link in this and all future video descriptions. It's an exciting time, and with the extra income I'd like to be able to expand the type of content I produce with the hope it will give me some added incentive to keep creating these videos. Not that I really need it, I really love doing this and hope that you can see that in what I do. Right, I've got a pile of old computers to turn into content. Thanks for watching. Stop!